Welcome to beautiful St. Moritz, Switzerland, the birthplace of the sliding sports. What Monte Carlo is to auto racing, what Wimbledon is to tennis, St. Moritz is to the sliding sports. Hello, everybody. I'm John Morgan, joined by Greg West, former member of the U.S. skeleton team. Today, it's the 8th and final World Cup race of the season. A lot of challenges in place for athletes trying to qualify for the Olympics, athletes trying to win the World Cup title. And on the oldest, only natural track in the world, Greg, take us down this beautiful facility.
Well, welcome to sunny St. Moritz. Switzerland has been putting on a show this week. We're going to take you down the longest track in the world, also the only natural track currently competing on. We're going down through a section of the track called Kink 1 and Kink 2. Subtlety is the key here. We're going to watch athletes, some of them are going to come right down the pipe, and others are going to do what we just saw from this POV run, and those little taps on the wall are very detrimental at times. Now we're going to Snake 1 and Snake 2. Silence and smoothness are the key, and then into Sunny, probably the most fun corner in the world. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride into Nash and Dixon, and what you're doing here is setting up for one of the most famous corners in the world, Horseshoe. You want a late entrance, take it up, get close to the roof, push it out, and try not to clip the wall on the exit. Anything we see of over 100 kilometers an hour is going to be cooking. As we go through the bottom of the track, this is where the sled really wants to skid out underneath you. We got 4 right-hand corners in a row. Speeds are going to be upwards of 135 kilometers an hour as we come out here into the field into Martineau, the penultimate corner on the track, and then over the crest to run into Pratago and across the finish line in somewhere between a minute 8 and a minute 10. What's interesting about this St. Moritz track, though, John, is because of the natural nature of it, times can vary.
Here's the World Cup standings. Look at the results. Kimberly Boss from the Netherlands has to finish 4 places within the second place ranked sled to win the World Cup title. A lot of pressure on her. I don't know if the Dutch have ever won a sliding sports championship. And this is also people trying to qualify for the Olympic Games. Right now, they're very close contests of some of these athletes. Leslie Stratton, a good result here today, could propel her to the Olympic Games and walking the Olympic parade. A lot of pressure here on all angles for these athletes on this historic track. Yulia Kanikina, one of the best start times, the Russian. There's the pressure. Kimberly Boss from the Netherlands. We're talking about winning a speed skating title. We're talking about winning a World Cup title in skeleton for her today. A lot of pressure, huh?
A lot of pressure. This is where it all comes down to this. We're looking at our start list here. Kicking it off, Kelly Delka from Puerto Rico is going to kick it off. India Tarada from Latvia, Katie Tannenbaum from the Virgin Islands. These 3 all fighting for Olympic birds as well. And then we get to the heart of the lineup.
Yeah, we have 25 sleds in the field today. A few more than normal on the World Cup circuit. A lot of these athletes are over on the Europa Cup or the North America's Cup or the Intercontinental Cup. And here's our first athlete from Puerto Rico, Kelly Delka. Doesn't get a great start. She's been out about 5 years now. She threw the goals.
She's smart.
Has she got a chance?
Yes, she got 16 seconds on the clock. That's a veteran move, bringing it back to the start line. Now, that question is how much can she settle in? That is a really difficult thing mentally to reset your brain and get back into it. Good news is there's a long track here in St. Moritz, so she's got a lot of time. 5:72 getaway, though, so I think she was a little careful on her second attempt.
She's born in Rio Grande, Puerto Rico. She lives in Bedford, Texas now. 34 years old. She lists you as one of her coaches. No, Kyle Tress.
Kyle Tress.
Yeah, was one of her coaches.
My twin. See her nice exit of Sunny. She struggled there during practice. Nash and Dixon. She's going to show us the line here. Going into Horseshoe, she's working the sled over late. Going to get up near the roof. Nice line. Kelly, always one of the bravest athletes on tour. Not afraid to get up there and go for the speed. 98 kilometers an hour on the exit. We're going to watch that speed number throughout the heat.
We could see the track record broken 6, 8, 10 times in the first heat. This track records are only set in December when the track gets built. The track's not exactly the same from year to year. So if we could see a lot of TRs, the gold graphic at the bottom, maybe even right here, you never know.
132.8 kilometers an hour across the finish line.
There's the first one. Could be 10, 15 times we'll see the TR.
It's always good to come across on TV with the gold numbers.
Track record.
Love it. Love everything about it.
Kelly Delka, the rabbit. Now, does she have a big advantage coming down first?
Not at St. Moritz. St. Moritz is backwards. You don't want the early start draw because the track is going to get faster throughout the heat, unlike any track in the world. We're going to watch her off the starting block here. She kicks off and immediately comes out of the groove. The question is that the start groove being a little bit wobbly, or is that nerves from trying to qualify from the Olympics? Right now, Kelly is above the cut line to qualify for the games. Is she going to be able to maintain that? Nice line through horseshoe. That's what you're looking for near the roof.
Next up from Latvia, Enja Turdu from Latvia. This is her 14th World Cup start. And, you know, as we look at this, whether or not she's going to qualify, she's on the list. Latvia will qualify one sled. But I'm hearing that Latvia might not send her to the games. I'm not sure about that, but maybe they had 2 sleds available. They're only sending one.
It'll be interesting to see with some of these nations. An athlete may qualify for the games, but a country may choose to or not to send them based off national criteria. It's very interesting how each individual country decides who represents them at the Olympic Games. And in the green numbers right now, going in a horseshoe up near the roof, using a toe on the exit. We'll check the speed. 98.2, fastest speed.
She should pull away here. You know, a lot of pressure on these athletes. Plus, in the World Cup standings, there's 8 races. You can throw away one race.
Dead heat, dead heat. We got it at the bottom of the hill. She's got good speed, but it looks like she bled a little away with a little bit of toe action. She's in the red, but fastest speed through Martineau.
And uphill section, Martineau through down right here, and 200s. They come over a mile in distance, and she's 200s behind Kelly Delka from Puerto Rico. Wow, almost a mile, over a mile in distance, 200s.
I don't think India is going to be happy with that. I think there were some mistakes up top. She struggled between kink 1 and kink 2. A lot of driving in that straight, flat portion of the track. We'll see her on the start. It looks like that sled's wobbling around in the groove too. So that'll be something we want to keep an eye on here today.
She's 700s better at the start, so she gave up some of her start advantage.
Not quite up to the roof that Kelly Delka took. Kelly took it right up to the woodwork and dove it out. She really is going for it. You got to respect that. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next 23 sleds.
Okay, next up at the top, Katie Tannenbaum, Virgin Islands athlete. She's been around a long time. She needs a good result.
Katie currently on the outside looking in, trying to qualify the games. Got kicked a little bit left, skipped kink 1, but got away with it with a 5.60 start time and the fastest start velocity going into these long sections at the top of the track.
She's a school teacher, right?
Math whiz.
She's a math whiz.
Everybody on tour that needs help with the math homework, go find Katie Tannenbaum.
Well, she's got the green number. She had the best start.
3/10 in the bank. We'll see how it goes through Sunny. Clean looking line through Nash and Dixon. Let's see how brave she gets. Does she take it up to the woodwork? Yes, she does. Diving out, 3,500, pulling away, got a big skid, 3rd fastest speed. That's the slowest sled out of the 3, only 97 kilometers an hour. So that time is going to come back. It was 3,500. It's down to 2/10, slowest speed through the bottom.
Well, this should be the leader, that type of lead. Down into the Gunter Sachs, the fastest part of the track, now into Martineau, named after the St. Moritz original president of the St. Moritz Bobsleigh Club, and through and down on this natural track. There's another track record. That's number 2. Lost a little time on the bottom.
Lost a little time. It was that big skid on the exit of the telephone affected her. But she took an interesting line. She completely skipped kink 1. She said, no, it's okay, I don't need that corner, and just went straight down the straight. It worked for her. I've never seen somebody pull it off. Here it is up near the woodwork. That's a great looking line. You want to be just a couple inches off of it, dive out aggressively, a little toe tap, and that is the line. We'll see here on the exit of horseshoe. She was down on speed, but I think that was because of a skid.
Virgin Islands, she points to. Okay, now we get into the top-ranked athletes in the field. Yulia Kanakina from Russia. She's 5th in World Cup points. Her best finish of the season, a fourth last week in Winterberg, a second in Sigulda, a third in Altenburg. The last 3 races, she's been on the podium twice and just off. And she's a rocket starter as a track record at the start.
Nice.
All Russian athletes have got great starts.
All Russian athletes do it. Yulia is picking the right time to peak. If anybody can design a 4-year program where your best results are the last 3 races before the Olympics, that's a pretty good plan. Many have tried, a few have executed. So she's got a big lead in the tank right now. Over a half second, a little skid there on the Exodus Snake 2, make it 6/10 though.
She's not interested in the 3 sleds that just came down. She's interested in putting a catch me if you can, break the track record, 6/10. She's going to smash the track record. She might get it up near 8/10 by the time she's done here.
Down on speed though, compared to the top 3 athletes. Now she's up. She was 3rd fastest out of horseshoe, fastest speed to the bottom. Up over a second, like you said, going for catch me if you can. I'm going to lay this down and come and get it.
Wow, look at this, 133 kilometers an hour, over 80 miles an hour. Your chin inches off the ice. Track record, 97 hundredths advantage. That is a statement run from Yulia Kanakina from Russia.
Yeah, that was definitely the come and get it. You know, different people in this race have different priorities. Yulia is going to go to the Olympics for Russia. Now, she just wants to carry momentum into the games. That was a pretty good way to do it by taking the lead by almost a second.
Well, 4th, 2nd, and 3rd in their last 3 races. Those are pretty good results. Sunny Curve, then into Nash and Dixon, named after the 2 British guys who won the gold medal to 64 Winter Olympic Games in bobsledding.
Low line through horseshoe. Now that's a Schneider sled. It's a little bit stiffer, so they're not going to get up near the woodwork like the Bromleys are going to. But she was only the 3rd fastest speed on the exit of horseshoe. Does that leave some on the table for some other athletes?
Okay, Jacqueline Lohling from Germany. A lot of pressure on this young athlete. Rumor is she's going to have a top 3 finish to qualify for the Olympic Games, even though the Germans have 3 athletes qualified. Her best finish of the year, 2nd last week in Winterberg. Her only podium from the former world champion.
Well, you call her the queen of speed, not from her work on the start ramp, but for her work down the track. The longest track in the world bodes well for her.
She's 4/10 behind. That'll grow. This is a flat part of the track. That'll get out to probably 5/10 behind. But then this athlete is a former world champion. It's her 53rd start in the World Cup.
Former Olympic medalist. So she knows how to get down a track. Working a little bit off of Snake 2.
So 6,800, she's got to stop the bleeding now. She's got to get this down to 59 or 60. The exit here, the speed. She's going to have the best speeds on the exit of horseshoe.
Early entry.
Here she comes.
That is the early.
Here she comes.
It worked. 99.6, fastest speed of the competition. So maybe she knows something other people don't.
She is a queen of speed. She's down to 2,500. She's going to come back from almost 3/4 of a second behind. She could break the track record and take the lead.
A little rough at the bottom. A couple of clips. A 135.7. Great speed through
unbelievable speed. She could do it. If anybody can, she can. She does.
Needed every inch of the track to do it, but she finally pulls it out. 1/1200ths of a gap. New track record, 109.99. First sub 110 we've seen of the day.
Wow, that is something. You can't do that on a 1,250-meter track, but you can certainly do it here in St. Moritz. Over 1,600 meters of ice, a deficient start time. If there's anybody can pull that off, it's her. Look at, I mean, the start, you don't want to look at. But the rest of the way down the track, for an athlete, probably the tallest female athlete in the field, look at this bullet form.
Little toe action, driving out of horseshoe. She took a different philosophy into horseshoe. She went in early. Everybody else has been going in late.
Okay, back to the top with probably the favorite in the competition, Mimi Ravina from Canada. She was flying in training. I mean, she was 3/10 ahead of everybody in training. We sort of discussed it was her race to lose.
Well, that little hit on the exit of Kink 1 was not in her training program, but she's got 4/10 in the bank. Mimi has absolutely dominated this track over the last probably 5 or 6 years. She gets it. And even though the track is a little different every year, she knows how to slide on this natural ice. She knows how to find speed. and she's been doing it all week in practice. Working to get in late entrance to horseshoe, up near the woodwork. That's what we expect. She's on that Bobsleigh sled, 5,600 to the bank. Check the speed.
Big speed.
Wow, 100.8 kilometers an hour on the exit. She's about to pull away.
This is another track record in the making.
12.5, she's got her foot on the gas, firmly stomped.
Flying. This is a track where some athletes like certain tracks. Obviously, Mimi Ravina likes this track.
136.7, fastest speed of the competition. Kind of expected that. She's going to be the leader. The question is by how much?
Wow, 3/4 of a second. Another track record, the 5th one of the day.
Speaking of catch me if you can runs, that was it. That's the wrap.
That might not be anybody else can match. That might be the last track record of this first run. Seeing what she did in training, she just loves the track.
Exit kink 1, comes out, clips the wall, little skid, clips the wall again. Oh, that is not a great place to be, but she handles it very well. She gets it back together, her composure, obviously. Fastest speeds all the way down the track, even with that mistake. So, John, what that means, she has more in the tank.
Hi, Canada.
Wow, this unbelievable finish time right there. Now, Hannah Nies from Germany, this is only her 14th. There's our standings. This is her 14th World Cup start. This young athlete from Germany just gets better. She had a 4th place finish in Altenburg in the 4th race of the year. That was her closest to the podium. Gives up a lot of time at the start. But Greg, another typical German athlete, she knows how to make the sled go fast in the bottom.
Well, she has to make the sled go faster at the bottom. According to German criteria, from what I understand, once again, secondhand information, but she needs a top 3 here to guarantee herself into the games for the Germans. The Germans are going to qualify 3 sleds to get in, but they have very strict standards on who they send to the Olympics. Now, they have the option to discretion her in anyway, but a top 3 result here would solidify her place in the German Olympic team.
Sliding on an FDS sled, as they all do.
Second fastest speed, 100.3, faster speed than Lolling, notable, but behind Reneva. Third fastest speed, 2,400.
This is number 2. She's going to go ahead of her teammate Jacqueline Lolling. And this is important to the German selection, the race within a race.
It's like, oh, fastest speed, 136.9, faster than Mimi. This is how you do it, Hannah. Nice run.
Great run, 109.47, puts her in 2nd place. Distance her by almost 52 hundredths from her teammate Jacqueline Lolling. Wow.
That's how you do it. If you need a top 3, that's the run you put down. She's going to be pretty stoked with that. I think solid run all the way down the track. She pats her sled. She feels the pressure. She knows what she has to do, and it is not easy to handle that. Look at her up near the woodwork like we expect. Such a cool shot and such a surreal feeling on a skeleton sled to get up there near the woodwork and dive it out. And then we see her here at the bottom. Fastest speed of the competition, even with a little wall touch, doesn't matter.
21 years old, one of the youngest athletes in the competition. She could be on her way to the Olympic Games with that type of run. Next up, Janine Flock, another speed merchant herself here. Janine Flock, 4th in World Cup points. She won the event in Sigulda.
5:42 getaway, 3rd fastest start. That's good for Janine. I call Janine the Austrian glider because what she does is she just sits back and builds speed all the way downhill. Very similar to Jacqueline Lolling, but with a faster start.
Look at this. Look at this. Only 200s back. This is another one of these athletes who can really find speed. She's so quiet on the sled. That's why she's a great glider.
Dead heat right now. She trains with Martins and Thomas Dukers. Her partner, Matthias Guggenberger, is the Latvian coach. And if you want to know how to be quiet on the sled, watch the Dukers. Nice line through horseshoe. Sneaks it through.
She's got the lead.
A little rough on the exit, though. 3rd fastest speed. It's going to be close, but over the 100-kilometer-an-hour mark.
Is the track getting faster?
Yes. Unequivocally. Always. 200-something. The 4th fastest speed. It's going to be very close here at the bottom. Janine needs to be perfect.
Still has the green numbers, the best speed. She should be another track record.
1:37.2, getting after it at the bottom of the hill.
Another one. Something we thought we wouldn't see. Jeff Payne, the former Olympic silver medalist for Canada, the 2006 Winter Olympic Games, looks on. He's got to be happy with that. Boy, I thought the track record was done. Wrong again.
Janine had something to say about that.
She certainly did.
Wow, great looking run, great speed at the bottom of the hill. You can't ask for more than that. 137 kilometers an hour. This isn't Whistler.
No, this is definitely a super speedway. Little unsure of herself right there.
Not in horseshoe though. Right up near the woodwork and dove it out, her head buried. That's what you got to do. You have to trust the exit. Sneaks it through. That is much harder to do than they're making it look.
The leader. Okay, biggest pressure run of the day, biggest pressure run for this young lady, biggest pressure run for the history of the sport in the Netherlands. Kimberly Boss is the leader in the World Cup at the moment. She has to finish 4 spots. 4 spots to Alina Nikitina, who's coming up. If she finishes within 4 spots, she wins the overall season World Cup title.
Well, having the second fastest start time off the top does not hurt. She's got 2/10 in the bank already. Now that's start time related. Now Kim's having a great year and has had big speed all season. We'll see whether she can maintain that pulling away up to almost 3/10 of a second lead on the Exodus Sunny.
The sliding sports, the Dutch have been participating in bobsledding forever, skeleton, luge. This is the only athlete that's ever had the success.
Fastest speed, 101K. The track is getting faster. That happens here in St. Moritz. 3,600, she's pulling away, Martin. Or John, sorry.
That's okay, track record of coming. Another track record. This could be it.
This is going to be under 109.
No speed, though. No speed. Maybe not. She does it convincingly. Quarter of a second. Okay, 7 track records. I said there's going to be 10. We're getting closer. I also said after Mimi Ravina's run, we wouldn't have any more. I was wrong. We've had 2 more since then.
Great
pressure run, though, for Kimberly Boss.
Some athletes rise, some athletes crumble. Kim grows to the occasion. See her in a horseshoe, fastest speed of the competition on the exit. Why? Look at this, coming out, just diving it out, trusting the exit.
Head down. Wow.
That's so
Look at her
much
head.
harder.
Look at her head here.
She knows she has the line, and that's where the speed comes from. The sled knows when you know it's fast.
Hallo iedereen die kijkt, wat leuk dat jullie zo vroeg kijken.
What pressure on that young athlete. Valentina Margarola from Italy. This young athlete has had a breakout season. She did not finish the Altenburg race, so she's 6th in World Cup points. She'd be up there in the top 3. Her best finish, 2nd in Altenburg. She can start. And again, she's had a breakout season, Greg.
Yes, the Italian program is looking really good for going to the Olympics. It is no secret that she is a medal contender. 5:15 start time, that's part of the reason. But she's been driving herself into medal contention all season long as well.
She was a track star, 100 meters, javelin thrower. Works as a policeman, Carbonara in Italy. Boy, she came out of nowhere. We saw her in Altenburg a couple years ago. They won the Team World Cup medal, but all of a sudden this season, she started getting near the podium, getting on the podium, taking the helmet off, and that big hair comes out. She's got a great personality, too.
Yep. Oh, right up to the woodwork. She may have clipped it. We'll have to check it in the replay.
She's got the lead.
But she's down on speed, so she had to work it hard on the exit. Way down. I think almost 3 kilometers an hour down, so it's coming back. 7th fastest speed. Her horseshoe hurt her. 1,400ths of a second behind. She's going to fall. She's in 2nd now. How far does that bring her back?
Well, red numbers now, but still chance for a medal.
Down 4 kilometers an hour at the bottom of the hill.
Could be how far back. She lost a lot of time. 5th, 6,400ths back. 600ths behind Hananise.
Splits the Germans.
Yeah, Jacqueline Rowland's now 2nd behind the track. Well, she made some mistakes here, Martin, or Greg, I'm sorry. Martin Haven not with us. He's calling auto racing in Paris this weekend. I'm sure he's listening in.
We're checking her out here. She's going into horseshoe. You want to be on that sliders right like she is. That's late entrance. And boy, that's as close as you can get without clipping the roof. I think you want to be high, maybe an inch lower than that. You see the legs come apart at the bottom there, and that's what cost her speed for the rest of the run.
Now here's our standings. Kimberly Boss from the Netherlands in the lead. Janine Flock in second. Mimi Ravina of Canada in third. Now here comes, another slip.
Something's up with that start groove.
She's got time though, right?
Yeah, plenty of time on the clock.
Relax.
11 seconds. She's gonna have to go though. Tina's a veteran though. She knows how to handle it. Gets to the starting with 3 seconds to spare. Crosses the line. So it works. How did she handle the start time? 5:60. A little bit down than anybody would be when you hit the sled that goes somewhere but other than forward. That's a little unnerving.
Multiple world champion.
Little steers down the straight. You see that head just twitching a bit?
Now she's 5,400s back. You say that's impossible to come back. Not in St. Moritz.
Nope.
Not when you come late in the heat. Not when you're a world champion like this athlete is.
Well, she's going to have to step on the gas soon because it's out to 7/10.
She's had 1 gold medal this year. That was in the second Altenburg race.
Working for that late entrance. She clips the roof. Close to it.
Way back.
Down on speed, yes, under 100K. So that question is, how far does she fall?
Yeah.
She's 7th on the time charts right now, but she's not going to close on the leaders. Where does she slot in?
This is
8,900.
She's back here, Jacqueline Lowling. This will be a very disappointed Tina Herman at the bottom here.
Now, Tina's going to the games no matter what. Although, wow, fastest speed at the bottom. She did something right after horseshoe, that's for sure.
She probably heard it. 7,400s off the pace. And the German coach not very happy with that. She's behind Margarolia from Italia. Hannah Nice is the top German. But she's 7,400s back. She could still get up there in the top 4.
Not happy.
She won't be happy.
Nope.
Her attitude is silver medal is the first loser. Look at her.
Let's watch her off the start groove. What's going on with this groove? We've seen multiple sleds pop out.
They might have to recut that. Is that different than a natural track to a refrigerated track groove?
If it's been getting warmer in the afternoons, it can melt out a little bit and get a little wider. And if you're running a lot of rock in the sled, you don't have as much of a contact patch within the groove.
Well, she got off, but she didn't succeed down at the bottom. Okay, we go right back up to the top. Alina Nikitina from Russia in her 64th start. The Russian female rocket. Start time 5:18.
Slower than Margolia from Italy. She's not going to be happy about that.
She never gets beat at the start.
Nikitina does not like it when she gets out pushed. But she's turned into quite the driver. So we'll see what she can do down the track. She's still got green numbers at the moment.
Well, that's the start. Now, remember, she has to finish 5 spots ahead of Kimberly Boss.
It's hard to do when Kim's in the lead.
5 spots ahead, right? So she's got to,
she needs to be the leader here if she wants to win the World Cup. Low line in horseshoe. Down on speed, only the 8th fastest speed. She will not be the leader after this run.
But the other thing you got to think of is she doesn't get near it. Kimberly Boss can throw a race away. She won't throw a race away that she's won. But, wow. If I'm Kimberly Boss, if I'm the Dutch, if I'm anybody in the Dutch world, I'm loving what's happening right here.
Yeah, this is not the run Alina needed. I'm feeling pretty good about Kim in the second run, but anything can happen in skeleton.
7th best time, 2nd best start. Yeah, I agree with you.
Just a run that wasn't. Never had the speed down the track.
Well, you know, she can start the sled. She's great on those 1,250-meter tracks, short tracks, big start. You know, and she's...
Here it is, horseshoe, low line, a sled width lower than our fastest sleds. Now, she is on that stiffer Schneider sled, but you want to be higher than that. We've seen the fastest sleds way up near that woodwork. There's a reason for that.
She won the first 2 races in Innsbruck, a short 1,250-meter track. She had 1 bronze medal since then on the Winterberg track last week. But with that start, she is dangerous. Another Russian, Alina Tarachenkova. And she's in her 14th World Cup start. She's 7th in World Cup points. She did have a medal in Altenburg, silver medal in the 4th race of the year. Last week, 15th in Winterberg.
She's been a pleasant surprise in that third spot for the Russians this year. The Russians have qualified a third sled for the Olympics. So odds are it's going to be Elena. 100th back right now. Now she's looking at a top 6, top 8 here would be a nice exclamation point on what has been a breakout season for Terry.
21 years old. She's young. Moscow. She was born in.
Approaching horseshoe.
Working for that late entrance in the horseshoe. Does she get up near the woodwork? A little low as well. Ooh, and a clip on the exit. So 3/10 back, 5th in the splits, only the 11th fastest speed. Looked like she clipped the wall on the exit of the horseshoe. We'll have to check the replay.
All 3 Russian sleds off the mark, coming down, all 3 of them with great start times.
But no speed at the bottom. 9th fastest speed, leading out to 6/10 back.
Russians have 3 of the top 4 start times, and none of the Russians are even close to a medal.
8. Well, we said top 8.
So Kanakina is in 10th, Taylor Fikova is in 8th, and Nikitina is in 7th. Start times don't mean so much on this track, although Kimberly Boss had the 5th best start, Janine Flock in 2nd, the 7th best start, Mimi Ravina from Canada, the 6th best start. You don't see that on other tracks.
Low line through the horseshoe, a lot of leg action, steering pretty early. It just looks like the Russians, 3 for 3, haven't really had the horseshoe figured out. See on the exit, yes,
Ooh,
does clip
away.
the wall. Does clip the wall. That burns too, by the way. That shot on the leg, that'll leave a bruise.
Next up from Canada, from North Vancouver, Jane Chanel. Good starter. Had a 7th place finish at the opening event in Innsbruck. She's 12th in World Cup points.
So Jane can do here. Like I said, good starter, good glider.
Simon Fraser University, track and field. Chelsea played softball, good start.
5:27 getaway.
3rd best start. Now she starts her ride down this track in the forest.
She's got 400s in the bank right now. See how she does through snake 1 and snake 2. You got to be smooth through here. Those little scratches, they add up.
She's already 5 back now. She went from -4 before the snake, 1 and 2.
Little rough on exit Nash. Middle entrance into the horseshoe, right up to the woodwork. So she's going for it.
2/10 back right now. She's in the top 3. If she can maintain this, she's going to challenge her teammate, Mimi Ravina.
7th fastest speed through the middle of the track.
She's still holding on to 3rd.
She's going to be close.
Ooh, a tap there.
Going into Martineau.
Still 3rd.
8th fastest speed is going to be very tight. A good-looking run from Jane, though. She's going to be happy. 4th.
Right behind her teammate. Well, she lost a lot of time at the bottom to her teammate.
If you had told Jane yesterday she'd be within 2 tenths of Mimi, I think she'd have been pretty happy because Mimi was laying it down during practice.
Hannah Neese is also tied for 4th with Jane Chanel.
Going to be an interesting second heat.
Sure is. Well, the horseshoe.
Right up near the woodwork. Oh, man, that is as close as you can get to hitting it without hitting it. I believe she was 4th fastest speed on the exit. You got to be brave in horseshoe this year. You have to go for it.
From the United States, South America, ready to the start, Megan Henry.
This is going to be interesting here. Three athletes in a row from the United States who are having a qualification here amongst themselves. Only 2 U.S. sleds will go to the Winter Olympic Games.
On the track, Megan Henry.
3 in a row for the U.S. women. Oh, big skid on the exit at Kink 1. That's not going to help. Now, Megan is ranked #1 out of the U.S. athletes coming into this race. But little mistakes like that are not going to help her hold that.
They can throw away one race. Katie Uhlander coming up. She's already missed the race last week, so she can't throw a race away. But this is a lot of pressure on these athletes. The 4 years they've just put in, if not longer, to have a chance to go and represent their country at the Olympic Games, coming down to one race. Pressure.
Middle line, safe line, through the horseshoe. She's just a little bit loose. Watch her legs. The back end of that sled just doesn't seem like it's as planted as we've seen from other athletes. Now she's 10th in the splits right now, 7th fastest speed to the bottom. So that'll help her cause a little bit, give her a chance to climb up a bit. You hear that whistle from the Bobsleigh sled.
Yeah, that's from the sled.
There you go, 6th fastest speed, that'll help.
Top 10.
See what it is at the line. And
9, she came back on the bottom.
Good bottom of the track for
Well,
Megan Henry. She needed that.
She's had a 7th place finish, her best of the season in the opening event in Innsbruck. Since then, really hasn't got matched that. But boy, a lot of mistakes up top. Military athlete, WCAP program.
New speed.
You see that on on their sleeve. WCAP stands for World Championship Athlete Program. Basically a military athlete like most of the Germans and Italians and Russians.
See what happens here on the exit of kink 1. She gets an aggressive line into it, and then just the
Falls
back end
away.
kicks out. Yeah. And now you're just trying to get it pointed straight. Ice is slick. It doesn't want to go straight, and then she overdrives it in between kink 2 or kink 2 and wall. That wall juts out there, natural track.
Worst lines we've seen yet. Okay, next up, the veteran United States slider, 37 years old, Katie Ulander. Breckenridge, Colorado is her address. Missed last week's race. She's got a lot of pressure on her, but she's a former world champion, multiple team events, and knows this track well, Greg.
Katie's a glider. Katie's a wily veteran. She knows how to get down the track well, but she does need a result here. It's not a foregone conclusion that she's on the U.S. Olympic team. She does need a result here. She's 3/10 of a second back right now.
She had a 5th place finish, the best American finish of the season for women's skeleton in Winterberg. 41's back. 9th place. She's gone from there at the start, the 10th best start. She's got into 9th. And this is where she's got talent at the speed part of the track.
Yep, let's see where her speed is there. Good line through horseshoe. 3rd fastest speed, that helps. Oh, but a hit on the exit of the telephone. Check where she is at 9th up to 7th. So she's coming back. 2nd fastest speed. The track is getting quicker here in St. Moritz, and Katie Ulander is taking advantage of that right now.
She's got over 15 years of sliding on this historic track.
Good speed at the bottom.
Her experience is showing here. This is quick. Top 5, 4th. Wow.
That'll help.
53 hundredths back. She's 500ths in front of the Canadian Jane Chanel and Hannah Nies from Germany. And she's 19 hundredths out of a bronze medal. Katie might even post a smile.
We'll see what happened here on the exit. Little flop out. She's working the legs. Now, Ulander's known her legs are, that's how she slides. She slid like that for 15 years. It works for her. She finds big speed. We just saw that. So that's pretty standard for her. See her at the bottom, a little bit high. Comes out and takes that wall clip. It didn't hurt her that much, though, because she had the 4th fastest speed through Martineau.
Kelly Curtis, next up from Springfield College graduate. She's a heptathlete. This is her 9th World Cup start, and a lot of pressure on this athlete.
Kelly has to have a result tonight. She has to have a big result. The U.S. has qualified 2 sleds for the games. She's currently number 3 on the outside looking in. So she has to go beat her teammates, and Katie Ulander just put up a big run. So she's really aiming for Megan Henry, who's currently in 10th. And she needs to be right there with her to give her a chance in the second one.
A little skid there before the entrance to Sunny. This is where the sled is still picking up speed. You don't want to mistakes here. Just slow yourself down. Now horseshoe.
That's a late entrance. It's her first time coming to St. Moritz. So not an easy track to pick up. 4th fastest speed. So that does help, though. Nice speed. That'll help her close on her teammate. Currently tied with Megan Henry on the split. Fastest speed of the competition.
Wow.
Wow. Who is this? Where'd this come from, Kelly? This is great. Nice run.
See if she can maintain the fast speed in the bottom 7th. Lost a little bit back. She's up to 8th place, though. She'll be ahead of her teammate, Megan Henry here. 7. That's awesome time.
Race within a race, your catchphrase, but it's true here amongst the American women.
Wow, it's close. She's only 700ths off Eulander, but she's got a 2700ths lead on her teammate, Megan Henry. Now remember, they can throw a race out. Katie Eulander can't. She has to take this result.
I think Kelly Curtis wants to take this result too because she's in, I think, the best position she's been in all season long. Great looking line through Horseshoe. Had the fastest speed of the competition through the bottom third of the track. She was 112K out of Devils.
Yep. 9th is her best finish of the year.
From Brazil, Nico Silveira. Nico.
Well, here comes our next athlete from Brazil, Nicole Silveira. She just tore it up in the World Cup over the America's Cup circuit, but hasn't done so well over here, although she did get a 9th place in Altenburg.
Little skid there. Oh, no! 2 skids and 2 wall hits. That's not what you want in the kinks. An aggressive line in kink 2. The sled is going everywhere but straight, John.
Well, she had a great start time, 9th. Boy,
She's got a long track in front of her, though. She's got plenty of time to put it together. Big speed out of Horseshoe can mitigate some of those mistakes up top. 8,700's back on the lead. She's currently in 16th place out of 17th sled, so she does have her work cut out for her.
This is her 10th World Cup start.
Up near the woodwork in Horseshoe, that's what you want to see. We'll check the speed. 98.7, 11th fastest speed, so she does have a chance to claw herself up a bit. Still 16th on the split start. 15th.
Registered nurse by trade. Lives in Calgary, Alberta. Born in Rio Grande, Brazil. And now into the Martineau curve. Looks like about 15th spot, 14th maybe.
She'll be going hunting for the second heat.
15th. All those mistakes up top, pretty hard for the athlete to overcome that.
Yeah, the sled went everywhere but straight from about the exit of the start grooves all the way to the wall, which is turn 3. But Nicole, she's qualified for the games. She doesn't need this result. This is one she can throw away. She just might. We'll see her here on the exit of the start groove. Great start time. See, she leans away from wall. She's wanting that, almost driving it in deep into wall. See the reverse angle here. She skid before she even got there, and then the leg swayed behind her and it broke the sled loose, and now you're just fighting, trying to get it straight, and that is a helpless feeling.
Anna Fernstad from the Czech Republic. She's had a tough season, this athlete who can really glide on the bottom part of the tracks, but she's only got a 1 top 10 finish in 8th on the season, and she's an athlete that's always was sniffing around medals, top 5, just hasn't done it this year.
Well, this is a good track for her. It's long. She's not going to light the world on fire on the start ramp, but what she does is she builds speed late.
She is a glider, like Jacqueline Lowling.
575 getaway, 19th fastest start time, and is already qualified for his 2nd Olympic Games.
25 years old, she's still young, and she's been sliding for quite a long time.
Looking run so far, nice and quiet on the sled. You're not hearing that scraping down the track. We'll check the speed. She's back a bit though. She's a 2nd back on the leader, Boss. I don't think anybody on the left in the field's got anything for Kim. But we'll check Anna's speed. I think she clipped the roof.
Wow, 2nd back already.
3rd fastest speed. It worked for her. I apparently just don't know what I'm talking about in the Horseshoe, because that is a good line, good speed. Fastest speed.
How can she do that? She's 15th now.
She's
got to move up.
She's low to the ground, and she's aerodynamic. She's building speed. We'll check this. 4th fastest speed. She's coming back. Can she get up to 12th? She's 15th right now.
Maybe. 13th, 2nd off the pace. Boy, did she fly on the bottom part of the track. She's ahead of Jacqueline Lowling, who must be beside herself. Of course, Lowling and Katakina, 2 top sliders, went early, 5th and 4th, and now the track, I mean, it rewards people coming late in the draw. It's the only time in any bobsled skeleton race where that is an advantage going late.
Check her up here. Oh, she gets up in the frost a bit, but she doesn't clip the roof. Wow, that's as close as you can get. Couple sheets
scary?
of paper.
Is that scary looking at that wood?
It gets your attention. You see it in your peripheral, that's for sure.
Okay, Anna first step through and down. Fast in the bottom, but not fast enough. Next up from Australia, Jacqueline Naricott. She's 17th in World Cup points. She's right on the bubble, right, for the qualification procedure, right?
She should be in. She's got a couple of sleds behind her. She doesn't have to have this race. I was talking to her and her husband, Don Parsons, earlier this week and earlier today, and she's had a great week of training. So she's looking forward to a fun week of sliding here at St. Moritz. And a nice-looking run through Kink 1 and Kink 2. Cool, calm, and collected, low to the ground, aerodynamic. And that'll help because this track is just getting faster.
Well, the pressure.
Let's see what she does here in Sunny. 1300ths of a second back. Oh, but a little skid there going to Nash. You see how much that hurts her. A little bit early to horseshoe compared to other people. Near the woodwork, not quite. The 600's back. She's coming fastest speed. 102 kilometers an hour.
She's up in the top 3. This is unbelievable. She hasn't finished better than 11th all year.
Fastest speed.
She might take the lead.
We're going to see gold numbers again. What? How many track records we got? 7?
We've got 7. This could be another one.
This could be 8. She is coming back.
Here she comes.
100
She's
in the
best
green.
speed.
Wow. 137.9. Fastest speed in the competition.
Where did this come from? Track record? Yes.
Wow.
Best heat of her life.
Jackie proved me wrong. I said I didn't think anybody had something for Kim. Jackie's like, yeah, about that.
Where did this come from?
Look at the fist pump. There you go.
St. Moritz. That's why the athletes love coming here.
It's definitely not the view. See her on that Exodus Sunny, a little bit of a skid. This is the only thing I can pick apart on this entire run because she just took the lead by almost 2/10. Great looking line through horseshoe. Not the height, but it's just super smooth. You don't see the toe action we've seen from other athletes.
Jacqueline, you broke the track record. You're in first. Here's the standings. Shocking. Look at these leaderboard. You have the first 7 spots. You have 7 different nations. That's awesome. Okay, we move on. Brogan Crowley. Okay, she's 14th World Cup start. She's had a mixed season of results.
5:28 start time, good start time. 5th fastest of the competition.
12th was her best finish in Segunda.
Oh, you can't clip the wall there, and now she's gonna clip it again. That does not help. 500's back in a race for start time. So now she's got to be cool, calm, and collected. St. Moritz is a long track. You have the opportunities to get it back. Horseshoe is everything here, but she's back. Those 2 wall hits, John, 3/10 of a second. That's how much it cost her.
Another heptathlete in the field. Seems like the sport of choice for a lot of these athletes. Ooh, she hits there too. This is not a good run. She's 16th.
21st fastest speed. That is not going to help. Right now, India Taruda from Latvia on the bubble. Can Brogan knock her out of the top 20
I don't think
here?
so.
But she's way back.
No, she's going to be that 21st. She's had a problem from top to bottom, and I don't think this will put her in the second heat.
Speed of the competition, the bottom 130, and she clipped going into Portago.
Boy, the skidding 3 seconds off the pace. This athlete is better than that. But, St. Moritz, you make those mistakes up top, you can't gain speed on the way down. You can only prevent yourself from losing speed.
The track gets faster, but you can't make mistakes in the slow part of the track to take advantage of it. And we'll see her in horseshoe. Took the low line through horseshoe.
And then she bumped coming out.
Yeah, we saw ice. Yeah, look at the ice
right
come
here.
up.
Not what you want to do in the crossover.
Ooh, big hit.
Yeah.
That'll light your hip up. And then just wrong side of the track there.
That'll light your time up, too. Like putting an anchor out. Okay, down to our last 4 sleds. Laura Deese from Great Britain. A lot of pressure on this athlete. She was disqualified last week, so she can't throw this event away. She's 21st in World Cup points. Great Britain right now. As I look at
They're getting 1 sled at the moment. So you go into kink 1, 5:34, 8th fastest start time, and much smoother than her teammate from kink 1 to kink 2.
Great Britain right now has 2 sleds in the competition, but they're the last country that has got 2 sleds in the competition. So something could change here. There's no Chinese in the field here. They've all decided to go back and get another 100 trips on that track. And they, that'll be the only race they throw out is this one.
Got 2/10 in the bank. Oh, sorry, 2/10 back right now at Narcot.
Started off with the 8th start. Laura Dees, the silver medalist from Pyeongchang in women's skeleton. Bronze medalist, excuse me.
Nice line through horseshoe, but no speed. 18th fastest speed, 98.1 kilometers an hour.
She's losing time back.
Fall back 13th.
Has not had a good year, 25th. She's way back, 21st in World Cup points. Her best finish of the season, 14th, and she's about 14th right now.
Taruta on the bubble from Latvia. 16th on the split. What's the speed? 133. She's going to make the cut and pump Latvia out.
17th. She should make the cut. She will make the cut. There's 3 to go. But, that's pretty much where she's been all season. She just has not had good results. But, of course, she didn't have that great of results either going into Pyeongchang, Korea, and she won a bronze medal.
Yeah, that worked out well for her, so maybe this is part of the strategy.
Yeah.
See here in horseshoe, right up near the woodwork. Laura knows how to go for speed, and she did just that. That's the line you want. There's not a lot of speed on the exit. We know the track's not going away because we just saw Jackie Narcot take the lead by almost 2/10.
Somebody hurt up there?
I think their trainer might have slipped on the ice.
Okay, Leslie Stratton from Sweden. A lot of pressure on this young athlete. She's ranked way back in 23rd. She needs to look at top 15 to have a chance to qualify for the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing.
So Les can do. She's had a lot of fun this week, coached by Jeff Payne. Her and Anna Fernstadt have been traveling around and having more fun than any 2 athletes probably should have on the World Cup Tour. 5:64 start time is a good start for her.
22nd, her best result so far. That was in the Winterberg #2 race.
It's a nice run through kink 1 and kink 2. Her goal here is the top 20. That's what she wants. Get a second run and then go hunting second heat.
That'll be a big advantage coming this late. Jacqueline Narcot just lit the place up with the best run of her life. I've never seen anybody out of the top 10 ranking come back and be the leader again at the first heat.
Late entry into horseshoe on that stiff Schneider sled. That's the line you're looking for. We'll check the speed, but a clip on the exit. 21st fastest speed. So she's down on speed. She's got some work to do here at the bottom.
You hear that scratch, and that's the helmet coming onto the ice.
See where she's at here, falling back a bit.
Pretty good line there.
132.2 through the bottom.
Looks like doesn't have the speed. 22nd maybe. 22nd. So Jeff Payne looks on, a little perplexed. I don't think Leslie's going to make the second run here. That might dash her Olympic hopes. Disappointing. People, they put all these years into qualifying for the Olympic Games. Comes down to a race.
Good looking line through horseshoes. The toe to get out. She clip on the exit. No, snuck it through. A little high here and comes out in that little clip.
Sitting up a little high, look like there. But good effort, Leslie Stratton. Next up, I said the Chinese weren't here. I apologize. Yuki Lee is in the field here. No, take that back. They are not here.
This is Shannon Galea from Malta.
I'm sorry, I am wrong again. I'm looking at the wrong list of World Cup rankings.
Making her World Cup debut for the country of Malta. I don't believe we've seen Maltese athlete before.
Sorry again, I was looking at the World Cup ranking where the Chinese were. So the first time you've seen Shannon, and also she's been on the North American tour, right?
Yep, and she's coached by former Canadian Olympian Mike Douglas. First time at this venue here in St. Moritz. And this is one of those athletes looking 4 years out. This is getting World Cup experience early in the career to build momentum. Looking forward to the Olympics in Italy.
Great to see another country. Ooh, boy, big mistakes though between Nash and Dixon. We see that a lot in the bobsled world. Not so much a skeleton. Real low there, Greg.
A little clip on the exit. That's been her nemesis all week. Not the big speed we're looking for, but once again, Shannon is very new to this sport. Dr. Mike, this is a gaining experience on the big stage and putting that carrot out and something to shoot for over the next 4 years. Ooh, a couple of big hits and a skid going into Martin now.
Boy. Feeling down. She's finished. That's all you can say.
You have to make your World Cup debut sometime. I had to throw it off the top of Whistler, and let me tell you what, that is a tough thing to do. Doing it here when you've never been to the track. I believe she's a first or second year slider, but 4 years building that Maltese program up. We love seeing the small nations and trying to grow the sport more. A couple of little mistakes, and the thing is about the World Cup Tour, everybody's incredibly good, and you forget that almost because everybody makes it look so effortless as they're coming down the hill. But this is a difficult sport.
Next up, our Spanish athlete, Ana Torres. She had a rough practice session. I was standing in the finish curve where she got up on her knees near the outlet, and she hit the abutment at the end and flipped, and they carted her off with a knee injury. But this is one of the athletes that our friend Anders Mirabel is developing, and it's, you know, he says he's got about 30 athletes in a new camp that bring him forward, you know.
Well, Anders built quite the program in Spain. He has turned that into a one-man band, into an actual skeleton program. A lot of development. They're getting them good kits, sleds, and opportunities to take, you know, a ton of trips early in a career, trying to pass on that legacy of Spanish sliding that Andrew has created all by himself, basically.
Yeah, well, he's a great ambassador for the sport.
One of the good guys, for sure. Also one of the funniest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah. He's done a great job of trying to take what he's learned in his 3 Olympics, and we'll see him in the men's race. He'll, you know, he's just trying to develop the sport, create a legacy for Spain.
A little rough here for Anna.
There's even talk about in Spain, you know, applying for the Winter Olympic Games.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So she came to Innsbruck in November 22. The Spanish Cup was her first event. 11, 12 athletes between men and women. You know, and her goal is Italy 2026. She studies aeronautic management. She might be too smart.
Might be too smart to be in the sport. Oh, well, that's another World Cup debutante, as Martin Haven would say, and threw him down.
Look at her stay in the sled. Now, see the opening right here to the right? That's what she hit. She flipped over. I was standing right there. Carried her off with a knee injury, but obviously wasn't that bad. But hey, this is her World Cup debut. Congratulations to Ana Torres and Anders Mirabel for bringing more athletes forward in our sport.
Growing the sport internationally is the biggest thing you can do in the sport. It's how you build a legacy. Some mistakes here from Ana, but it's her World Cup debut, and I'm glad to see her through and down and getting an opportunity to represent her country on the World Cup stage.
Well, what an exciting first run. An Australian in the lead. Wow, Jacqueline Nericott, the run of her life on the historic track at St. Moritz. She comes late in the field. She's never medaled. I don't know how many top 10 finishes she has. She has got some 5s and 6s, but this is awesome. Just tells you what happens in St. Moritz. The underdogs. The standings, though. Kimberly Boss going for the World Cup title. Janine Flock, the veteran Austrian. Look at the leaderboard. Look at the different flags on the leaderboard. Wow. Kelly Curtis in 8th. Katie Eulander. 3 German sleds. Boy, this is...
Jacqueline Lolling in 15th.
She needs a top 8 is what the Germans are demanding for her to get into the Olympic field. A lot of pressure on her. She'll go early.
Kelly Delka makes the cut, and that helps her opportunity to qualify for the Olympics. Katie Tannenbaum as well.
The other sleds will not make the second run. Brogan Crowley, a rough time in the start area. Wow, St. Moritz, exciting World Cup titles coming up. So, half hour from now, boy, make sure you come back and see us. We're gonna crown a World Cup champion. Might be somebody with an orange outfit on.